Hey, shalom, shalom. I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Shem Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. The belongings to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and that I do learn this truth from. May Yahweh Shem Shai continue to be with you all in the spirit and truth. May He increase you with more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, truth, sincerity, and faith, especially in these times that we're in. So yeah, I just want to go into this man here, Tony Shea. He was an internet entrepreneur and venture capitalist. He was a billionaire, a well-known billionaire, and he ended up passing away. He died due to a house fire. Apparently, when his house caught on fire, he ended up being barricaded in his house, and then he died of smoke inhalation. That was the cause of death. But I just want to go into how, pretty much I want to go into Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, I mean. It's on how these pretty much elites, or these people who are high status, these people who are of high status in our society, on how they live. You know, they fill themselves up with costly wine. And when you go into this man's life, Tony Shea, he had a huge issue with drugs and alcohol, and it started to go downhill even more when he entered retirement, right? So I'm gonna just, what is this? Close this. I'm just gonna go down and read some of the parts here. And by the way, he was 46 years old. He wasn't that old. He didn't even he wasn't even half a century yet. You know, he's not that old. He's only 46. That's not old, right? And he died on November 27th. And I believe he was the co-founder of Zappos. And they sell clothing online, clothing accessories, things of that nature. And he also did a lot of things in the past, right? And he also went to Harvard. So this guy, he had high credentials, right? He went to an Ivy League. He was extremely smart. So let me just read this here. It says, Mr. Hesh spoke often about partying as a central feature of his work and life, and his drinking increased after he retired and grappled with the isolation enforced by the pandemic. Those close to him said he began experimenting with drugs such as mushrooms and ecstasy. They said that was only one component of increasingly extreme behavior. Yeah, because when you become a billionaire, I'm just speaking out of what I see through a lot of people who reach high status. He's not the only one to do this, but when you reach a certain amount of money, or when you get really high up there, there's nothing else for you to accomplish. So you just end up becoming a victim of folly. So you end up, because you don't have any spiritual balance, you don't have a spiritual center, you don't have Yahweh Shem Shai in your life to keep you grounded. You end up falling into madness, doing things that aren't profitable and convenient for you. You end up spiraling down into destruction. And this is what you see here. Right? And he's a billionaire, obviously. He's a part of a club, a high society. And the increasingly extreme behavior goes into a lot more sinister forms of debauchery that you partake in. And I'm sure there's a lot of things they probably do behind the scenes that they don't talk about. Alcohol and drugs don't even scratch the surface. There's probably other very sick things that they do. And this is just off speculation, and not only just speculation, but what you see with the whole Jeffrey Epstein, because he was a billionaire, and all these high status people that were involved with his island. So it just goes to show, when you reach a certain point, especially or a high status lifestyle in this society, you end up doing a lot of crazy things. So here we go. Let me get a scripture. That's enough on that. You can go check it out yourself. You can just type this in, and if you want to read it yourself. But let me get some scriptures because that's what I really want to go into. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. You know what? I'll start at 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. And that's how these people reason, especially these elites that are in power. They know that they're very vain. They don't have any spiritual ground. So they believe, you only live once. And that's why you had people like Aleister Crowley. They came up with the slogan of you only live once, do as thou art will, which really comes from the left-hand side. And we know that Aleister Crowley was an occultist and a high-level warlock, wizard, whatever you want to call it, sorcerer. And he tapped into the left. He did all types of wickedness. And this is the mentality that a lot of rich people have adopted. A lot of rich people out here. So it says, for we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as a smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which is true to a certain degree when you read the scriptures. When you go into Psalms 144, I believe. When you go Psalms 144 and 4, actually I'll get that. Psalms 144 and 4. In the sight of the Lord, your life is like a Vicks vapor. Your days on this earth are very short. Remember, a day to the Lord is 1,000 years. We don't live 1,000 years. So our life is like only a millisecond in the sight of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So let's get Psalms 144. That's a spiritual number too, 144, right? When you think about it. So, man is like to vanity. His days are as a shadow that passeth away. And that's right. You don't live too long here, especially in this world or in this realm, because this realm is controlled by sin at the moment. Right? And us as men, mortal men, we are subject to vanity, unfortunately. But those days are coming to an end. That time is coming to an end. We're headed into a kingdom where we're not going to be subject to vanity. We're going to have a perfect mind, perfect bodies, and we're going to have the laws written in our hearts. So it says, man is like to vanity, and vanity, what does it lead to? It leads to wickedness, because that's what it is, emptiness and wickedness. And that's what this guy was delivered to. He felt very empty when you look at his life, especially when he retired, and especially when this pandemic. And here it is, he had all this money. He could have used his time. He could have used his money to put his energy into other things. And yes, he had a problem. But, with all that wealth, what did it do for him? What did it do for him? And you know why it didn't do anything for him? Because he didn't have Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. He wasn't spiritual at all. I don't know if this guy's a Jake, or I don't know if he's a heathen. But this shows you Jakes, man, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how successful you become. You need a spiritual grounding to keep you intact, man. You need Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now, let me read this again here. It says, Mr. Hesh spoke often about partying as a central feature of his work and life, and that's vanity. And his drinking increased after he retired and grappled with the isolation enforced by the pandemic. Yeah, because partying, doing all these things, and also being a part of, being involved in this pandemic, not knowing what's going on, because knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. He didn't have the knowledge And without knowledge, you don't have stability. So now you're going to get depressed, right? So this pandemic threw him overboard, man. And there's always a thin line between sane and insane, right? There's always that thin line. So you could see that he got the Lord allowed him to, be taken out by these things. So anyway, it says those close to him said he began experimenting with drugs such as mushrooms and ecstasy, they said. And that explains this scripture. Man is like to vanity. His days are as a shadow that passeth away. So let me go back here. Verse 3, Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 3. Which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. Now, when I read this guy's background, I believe he's from Taiwan, right? So it's possible that he's a heathen nation, right? And these heathen nations, they don't believe. Well, some of them do. They don't believe that that your spirit lives on, and then it goes back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. In their minds, that they're gonna die and they'll never come back, and they're only here for a short time. So you know what? I'm gonna make the best of it and live my life as a damn heathen, just doing all types of debauchery. Verse 4, and our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof. And that's why they work so hard to build themselves up in this society. Guys like Jeff Bezos, the Rothschild family, first and foremost, because they're the top family on the earth, the Rockefellers. That's why the scripture says their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, because they're trying to build a legacy on this place to keep their name in remembrance, right? But all of that's going to be done in vain, because this place is going to be taken down. Here it is, man. You're a billionaire. You did all these things to get to the top, which a lot of the things that you did to get to the top, they weren't lawful, right? You stepped on a lot of people's toes. You cutthroated a lot of people. You did a lot of wicked acts. You brought forth a lot of usury. So guess what? That's all done in vain. That's all vanity. And that's going to be taken away, man. Those things don't last forever, because that was sown through corruption. Okay, so verse 5, it says, for our time is a very shadow that passes away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is a fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. And this guy was acting like a teenager, man. He was functioning like a teenager, because you're 46 years old. Why the hell are you experimenting with mushrooms and ecstasy, man? That's something that fucking kids do, like teenagers would do. Like what the hell are you doing, man? Like, they think that this guy thought he was like 20. This guy was functioning like a 20-year-old, like he's still in fucking college, man. And that's what this society does to you. This society teaches you not to act your age. You have old men trying to act like young men, and then you got young men trying to act like old men. Then you got even men trying to act like women, and women trying to act like men. So you can tell, man, this society is very toxic. The world we live in today is extremely toxic. And we need Yahweh Bashem Yoshai to take us out of here. He needs to come back and clean this place up. And it's a proof here. Mr. Hesh spoke often about partying as a central feature of his work and life. So that was a central feature of his work and life, having a good time. Living in folly, living in Babylon, Funland. And guess what? Where did Funland get him? It brought him to death. That's what it did. Because that's not a balance. Now, verse 7, let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. And that's right. That is your lot. Your lot is to die. Your lot is to die, and it is your portion. That's why the scripture says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And you're going to do as you please. You're going to live in wickedness. You're going to make all this money, and you're going to die. That's all. You only live once. So, what else I got here? Yeah, that's all that I got. That's all that I really wanted to speak out about. So I hope this is edifying. Until next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor to unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Kwam Yasha Allah, Ababa Bal Shalom.